Hey guys, Work here, welcome back to the bench. So today we're doing something a little bit different. Today we're doing a knife review. What knife is that? That is the CRKT Folding Razel. Now I EDC'd this thing for about 2 months. At first I really liked it, but as time went on there were just little things that really frustrated me about it. We're going to get into that after this. So hey guys, as I said, I've carried this thing for about 2 months now, and it was recently replaced with a knife that I got in a tack pack from ABKT. I don't remember the name of the ABKT knife, but the reason that it replaced this was because I overall liked it a lot more. It's a ball-bearing knife with a tonneau edge, and one of the few things that I thought was kind of cool about this knife, the tonneau edge does so much better. Let's go ahead and zoom in and take a better look at this CRKT Folding Razel. So let's go ahead and start with this in the closed position and talk about just the overall fit, form, and function of this in its closed state, as you would typically have it if you were carrying this thing every day. So if you look at it, it is a gorgeous knife. I will give it that. The G10 material on the grips, I absolutely love G10. I love the patterns that they can get out of it. I love the feel. It feels high quality without feeling super expensive and super weighty. Now, one of the problems with this thing in its closed state is it's thick. Let's grab our cheap ass calipers here really quick and see just how thick this thing is. This is 0.64 inches thick. Now that is big for a knife. Now yeah, the blade is relatively thick, with an overall cross-section of 0.07, but that is just a really big knife for what you're getting with this thing, which is a single blade pocket knife. Now this particular one, I believe, has about a 3-inch blade. It might be a 3.5, but either way it doesn't matter. But since we're talking about the blade, let's go ahead and open it up and talk about some of the more unique aspects of this knife, as well as the reason that I no longer carry it. Now this is not a folding assist knife. It's somewhat easy to open with a single hand. However, there is a pinch point back here between the locking mechanism and the back of the blade as it comes together, and I can't tell you how many times I pinched myself in there. Now going back to the rest of the blade, once it's open, the lock is extremely strong, and you do have this switch on the back of here that, when pressed up, will lock the blade, essentially making this a fixed blade knife. You can no longer depress the frame lock, making it a little bit safer. Now as for the blade itself, the kind of cool gimmicky part about this particular knife is that the blade is not a standard shape. The blade has essentially 2 edges. The main cutting edge here, as well as kind of a chisel point edge on the end here. Now I don't mean chisel cut, I mean a chisel point. It's a flat edge that is perpendicular to the main cutting edge. Now what that gives you is a nice edge here to be able to push cut with, and an extremely fine point down here to do some fine work with, like opening boxes, etc. The problem is, I am so used to having a point up here that some things were extremely difficult to do with this knife, such as one of the things that my knives get used for more often than anything, opening toy packages. Now you know they package those things like getting them out without a knife would be the end of the world. Zip ties and straps and those damn twine things. Now with most knives you can get the point in there, twist the knife, and the blade will come in contact with whatever you're trying to cut, and it'll cut it. With this one, you can't do that, because the point is down here. So if you dig that point in and start to rotate the knife, you're actually going to dig blade of the knife into other things. It also caught me off guard a couple of times, because I almost forgot that there was blade here rather than blunt surface, and I almost put my finger up against it. And that's the main reason that I stopped carrying this, was because although it's cool, I had to think more about using this particular one, and it put me in a lot more danger in a lot of situations, where a standard knife would have been perfectly fine, and I would have never had to think twice about the thing that I was doing. Now as for the materials of the blade is still extremely sharp. Never had to touch it up or straighten it, and it never rusted, and this thing got dunked a couple of times. I'm not some knife guru who knows all the steel numbers and all that crap. All I know is the use of them. For instance, Kershaw knives, although I like the initial edge on Kershaw knives, it does dull quick, and when you resharpen them, the resharpened edge dulls even quicker. This thing didn't dull nearly as quick as my Kershaws do, and I was able to use it with the factory edge the entire time, and I still don't think that it needs sharpened. Overall, I really like the knife. It's a good build quality, it's really nice materials, and the design is very unique and cool. It definitely turned a lot of heads when I pulled it out. However, I just wanted something that I was a little bit more used to, a little bit more comfortable with. This thing will still be sticking around, I'll still use it, I'll toss it in my pocket every now and then, but for EDC, I'm going to stick with just a standard blade style, which is why this is no longer my EDC knife. Going back to a top level view of this thing, again, it is thick in the pocket. It does weigh a lot. It's a heavy knife, and it carries like? It carries like a big, heavy knife. That's it for this time, guys. I know it was really short, but that's really all the information you need on a knife, is how it carries, what the materials are, how it feels, and how well it works in everyday functions. And for the CRKT Folding Razel, it gets an A+ everywhere except how it functions in day-to-day life. Because of the unique blade style, it just took a little bit more effort, and I had to be a little bit more careful, and it put me in a little bit more danger than I wanted to be in on a day-to-day basis of just using a knife. If you like unique knives, I would definitely try this thing out. I think it sells for between $25 and $35. I'll go ahead and find it and post a link on Amazon down below here, so you can check it out. Now, there are two versions. This is the larger of the two versions, and there is a smaller version as well. But that smaller version is going to have this same knife point, which is why I won't be buying it. So guys, what do you think? Would you like to see more knife reviews out of me? If you would, go ahead and comment down below. Let me know if this is one of the things that you guys would like included in my channel. If you found this video useful, go ahead and like and subscribe down below. And remember, until next time, do your research, get informed, and get to work.